TQST. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, leading the 9H-HAM GlobalNet for this evening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whoever is listening and participating in the net, and welcome to the net. Before we start the net, is there any emergency or priority traffic on the repeater system? Hearing none, this is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, welcoming everybody to the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, which meets every 2 weeks on Thursday at this time on the 9H1 UHF repeater, the 9H1 DMR repeater, on DMR Talk Group 2780, and is also relayed live on YouTube on the 9H-HAM channel on YouTube. Approximately 1 or 2 days after the net, a recording of this net will be available on YouTube for your listening pleasure. I'd like to thank the trustees of both repeaters, 9H1 UHF and 9H1 DMR. I'd like to thank everybody else who helps make this net possible, especially Anthony, 9H5 Fox Alpha. And I'd like to invite everybody to participate as best they can. The format is an open format. There is no official net controller, but we ask that between transmissions we give a 5-second pause to allow all the repeaters and other connections to reset their timer. Having said all that, I hope that everybody is having a great day or evening. If you live in the Northern Hemisphere, welcome hopefully to summer, and if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, I hope that you're looking forward to a very mild winter as well. Before we start on any topics, I'd like to take some check-ins. November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha, checking in.
9 Hotel 1 Foxtrot Bravo Sierra.
This is 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. Name is Chris.
Okay, very good. I acknowledge 9 Hotel 5 Fox Alpha, 9H1 FBS, and 9H1 Tango Lima. Good evening to you as well, Chris, Charlie, and Anthony. Welcome to the net. Any other check-ins at this point in time? All right, hearing none, I'll go one round and see how everybody's doing and what you're doing. Any plans for the summer? Any plans for any activities that are ham related? I'd enjoy knowing. We all would. Our field day here in the United States, I think, is at the end of June, and our local club is slowly preparing for that. I think they're going to go to a cabin up in the mountains and conduct our Nancy or noise. And that would be interesting. I'll have to see if I can find a way to wiggle my way up there. Of course, there is a road that leads over there, and it shouldn't be that hard. Let me give a pause here and get some comments. We'll start with Anthony, 9H-5FA, with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. This is 9 Hotel 5FA. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Jerry, for the new soundtrack which we're using for the countdown before the net starts. So today we're using your very new soundtrack, which you just produced this week, and we're also using the slideshow which you have produced. And well, I like the soundtrack and I like the slideshow. So thanks very much for all this, and I'm going to pause a bit for to avoid repeating the timeout. 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha, me again. Yeah, and Jerry is taking care of doing the video editing on YouTube, so I had a huge backlog, but Jerry very kindly took it up, and he's keeping very up to date. Thanks a lot, Jerry, for that as well. I mean, from this little rock in the Mediterranean, besides the temperatures rising or uncomfortable levels already, at least for me, I don't think I have any other particular news. For all of those who've been following the international news, about 2 hours ago, 1.5 hours ago, we have a new Pope who's American, and that's all over the news, all over all the news services, and well, we wish him the best for the future. Let me pass the mic on back to the net. This is 905 Foxtrot Alpha with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet.
Very good. Yes, I heard the news. In fact, I was on Talk Group 91 on DMR not but 30-45 minutes ago, and that's where I heard the news. He's originally from Chicago, and I think he had a parish in Peru, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, all these details are just flooding in, and I have been. It's been a very nice day today, or it is a very nice day today. Currently about 23 degrees Celsius, and so summer is here. And my wife is preparing the garden and planting the seeds for my fulu plants, or my fava bean plants, which we call fulus, endearingly. And then hopefully by the middle of July, I'll be still sitting outside in the backyard and enjoying the fava beans fresh off the plant, which I enjoy doing a lot. it's a beautiful day, 22 degrees Celsius right now, high of 25 later on, nice and sunny. There is no more indication of any snow, and so it's time to plant vegetables and roses and other flowers as well. I'll give a pause. November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey. Music is concerned, well, I'm glad you like it. It's a combination of some samples that I came across, non-copyright samples, which I also took into AI and told AI to generate some music on the same lines, tastes, flavors, sound, etc., etc. AI takes a long time to generate music, but it does do that. And this soundtrack is 20 minutes long, and it took, of course, I don't have the latest and the greatest computer equipment, but it took an hour and a half to generate 2 minutes of AI generated music. But then I went into editing software and pieced everything together and ended up with a 20-minute track, and it sounded pretty good to me. And we'll see what YouTube says. It shouldn't have any issues with any copyright material, because it's not, as far as I know, none of the material is copyright or copywritten, I should say. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Charlie, how are you doing today? 9H1FBS after a short pause, and 7APW.
Very good afternoon, Jerry, and good evening to Chris and Anthony. Well, I think we have approximately the same temperatures that you have. It went up to something like between 25 and 27 today. And we are expecting some rainy periods tomorrow. So, this is May. Sometimes it does happen like that. And sometimes it's windy. And yes, summer's on the way, definitely, also here. I did make I do listen quite a bit at night before I sleep to Talk Group 91 on DMR, and there are some very interesting stations from as far as China, Australia, New Zealand, and also the South Africans are now coming more frequently on TG91. It's a pity that they don't, use other talk groups, because 91 is I think, overcrowded. Anyway, that's just my opinion. 9H1FBS is now standing by. Thank you.
Well, the way I look at Cell Group 91 is for short QSOs and for people who may be collecting countries or states for some award or awards, and that's very good for that too. And then, we can always tell people, and I do this often, that I'm QSYing to another talk group on DMR, and people that want to maybe perhaps talk or chit-chat further will follow me to that talk group as well. I monitor 2780 regularly, assuming that the radio is on. 2780 is the Malta talk group on DMR. I'm also going to start monitoring 278 on TGIF, which is another system similar to Brandmeister. And I monitored the Wyoming talk group as well, which is 3156. And as long as the radio is on, anything that Any traffic that comes on those talk groups, I can automatically hear, and the radio, provided I'm not busy or the radio is not busy receiving, then it would hear it as well and pass it through. Okay, very good. A little on DMR. If somebody's curious about the music, it's quite straightforward actually, and I'm pretty pleased with the way it turned out. But I'll let everybody else be the judge of that. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey at Control Station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Taking a pause. Okay, having said all that, 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima, good evening, Chris. It's nice to hear you. You have beautiful audio today. I hope you're doing well and everything is going according to plan, if that can ever happen. 9H-1 Tango Lima with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
In 7APW, this is 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima, Chris via Echo Link. Can't agree more. It's excellent weather at the moment for gardening. Gardening is one of my pleasures, and it's so great to have this weather right now here in Malta for that. I'm at the moment I'm preparing for an upcoming trip in a couple of weeks to Lisbon. I'm going to Lisbon, Portugal for a scientific conference. The last 3 days, but I'll be spending 6 days there, so that I'll enjoy some of the scenery there. I'll be visiting Tomar as well. I am casually interested in the history of the Knights Templar, and there is a Templar castle nearby in the village of Tomar, which I'm very excited to see. So that's going with me for the moment. I'm glad to hear that you're working a lot more with artificial intelligence, Jerry, with your music. I'm using AI practically on a day-to-day basis at the moment, mostly ChatGPT, both for work and for leisure. So I'm finding it very, very helpful. So this 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima, back to the net.
You know, AI is very available, or somewhat available, I should say, and very handy to have. You know, sometimes while I'm trying to plan a music program, a radio program that I do once a week for one of the local community radio stations, I just come in here and sit here, and then I'm going, well, what's today's theme going to be like? And then I just go to AI and say and put some requests out and get some answers back, and all of a sudden, before you know it, I have a good idea for a what I call a good sounding program, and then you take it from there. There has to be, I think, human intervention in anything, really, because otherwise it won't be your taste or your work. It will be somebody else's, or whatever way you want to put it. But you know, the ideas are there, and you can work off of the ideas. And we've been doing that all our life. You know, we'd go to a lecture or a conference and take notes, and all of a sudden, then we can write a paper, or we can you know, write information or an article about what we were present for. So it's identically the same and a lot more convenient. One moment. Truly, I wish I had a more powerful CPU in my computer, but you know, I don't use it for work anymore. It's strictly for stuff around the house, and so it's a bit slower because just like me, it's a bit older. But that's okay. I have the time, and it did what I wanted it to do, and hopefully the end result is what I thought it would be, and good for us to use as well. And if somebody wants to listen, I guess we'll see if it's going to be tagged as copyright or not, and if not, I might, I'll try to give it access so that people who want to listen can. And it's just relaxing music, I suppose. I don't know how else to describe it, Anthony. How would you describe the music? 7 APW.
7APW, 9H-5FA. First time I heard it, it seemed to me, first of all, it's mostly electronic music, which is, I guess, what you would expect from AI. But it actually is that sort of cinematic type of music, which you hear when something is about to happen. It doesn't actually build up to a crescendo, but there is that sense of, something is going to happen. And in this case, what's going to happen is the net. So I thought it would be very appropriate. And 7 APW with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Interestingly enough, you say that, and the original AI-generated piece led to a crescendo at the end, and I'm going, I can't have that. So I went on the notion of classifying it as anticipatory, if that's a word. I think it is. And there's a certain anticipation of something that will follow. And obviously what will follow is the net. So good. Yeah. And so then I went in and I had some other samples, not AI generated. They may have been, but I didn't generate them. And I went into some editing software, which is also free, and put them all together into the 20-minute track that's there. And and now maybe we'll go and look at the presentation, the slideshow, and tweak it a little and make it more perhaps ham related. It's very Malta, Gozo, and Camino related, but and of course that's where the net originates from. But we should add some ham radio elements in there too, and that shouldn't be hard to do. Okay, very nice. Let me ID again. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station, for this 9H-HAM Global Net edition. Any other chickens? Okay, comments, questions, information, anything that anybody has for the net that they'd like to share?
Yeah, about artificial intelligence, I just wanted to say that I planned most of my trip with ChatGPT. So all I did was I asked ChatGPT what are some things I could do during the 3 days that I'm not at the conference while I'm in Lisbon, and it asked me my interests, and I mentioned that I have some interest in history, and gave me some good a good itinerary that I could sort of follow. So that's one you could use for ChatGPT, planning your future trips. Absolutely brilliant for that. So there's 9 Hotel 1 Time Golima Chris to the net.
Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Yeah, I've been wondering whether I could actually record a video clip of myself and play it through a virtual cam during a Zoom meeting. Well, it's very difficult to synchronize them out, but just get the audio from the Zoom meeting, and you can actually transcribe it in real time and provide feedback through AI without actually saying anything myself. You can actually mimic your voice. I mean, there's AI which can imitate your voice, and I haven't tried it yet. And there's AI which can imitate your physical features and synchronize movements with speech. So I don't know. I was sometimes it crosses my mind. May not be possible now, but maybe possible in about a year's time, I guess. And I just send an avatar for a meeting and let the avatar say what it wants. 9H-5 Foxtrot Alpha with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet.
There's an app that will sample your voice, and then it will go ahead and regenerate whatever you type. And it's all I can say, it's scary, because we've been living with our voice all our life, inflections, everything, emphasis, and I spent 15 minutes training, and after 15 minutes, it was ugly. I was thinking, since when you generate or when you put together a radio program, your most important tool is your voice. If ever I had to lose my voice, a cold, whatever, I could just go to AI and let it do the presenting. And it was scary ugly, because I recorded a segment with me talking, and I recorded the same segment with AI using my voice. Whew. I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of 90% accurate.
H5FA, that's something which I have not yet done, but it's in my to-do list. I've seen some video clips of people who have done it and put up their video clips on YouTube, but I've never tried it out myself, and it is scary, because you can combine that with an avatar of yourself, actually, and effectively that means that you can, if you have someone's voice sampled and that person passes away, you can probably recreate him virtually using an avatar of him and his real AI voice. I mean, that's scary. 9H-5FA with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet.
9H1 Tango Lima Chris. I've actually had a friend of mine become a victim of fraud from something very similar. So what he told me was that he received a call he received a call that spoke to him with some kind of robotic voice, and it took him a minute to realize that it was fake, and then he hung up. But during that time that he had this sort of very brief sort of hello, very confusing conversation, it sampled his voice, and some days later his Facebook account was hacked and taken from him, so he lost access to his own account. And then he started getting calls from friends of his who were telling him that they were receiving calls, a video call, where it seemed to be an avatar of his, so it seemed very convincingly his, with the mouth moving, the facial features, and the voice sampled, and was trying to sell some kind of crypto scheme. But apparently it was very convincing, but his friends realized, obviously, because he wouldn't be that into that sort of thing, and the language that he was using wouldn't be something that he would be interested in. So like, yeah, this is a guy who barely even knew that crypto existed. Yeah, so unfortunately, identity theft is going to increase because of these tools that are so easily available. So that's from me. And Hotel 1 Tango Lima Chris to the net.
Managed actually, Chris, I've read somewhere on some forum of this type of scam, basically, where someone phones you. Your voice. It's a phone voice, and he can use that sample then to generate whatever he wants. That's scary. Yeah, I've read something. I mean, I've read something about it in some forum somewhere. Yeah. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly, basically, I think. 9H-HAM with 9H-HAM GlobalNet.
Your voice and its inflections as well. So we have a word that if we're not sure who the other one is at the other end of the line, we specifically ask this one question, and only we know the answer to that question, and that verifies the real identity. You know, it's really truly kind of sad to resort to go back to these issues, but it's kind of sad. You know, everything that's created for good, someone will find another use for it that may not be as good. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, taking a short pause. Time out the machine.
I don't think so, Jerry. I don't think so. No, I haven't.
Okay, very good. My space bar isn't working right. Are there any other check-ins for the 9H-HAM GlobalNet? Any other topics or comments or questions for the net? We have a total of 4 check-ins this evening. But it's very enlightening, and we're having fun, and that's all that counts. November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, standing by. none, I'd like to thank everybody for checking in this evening. We always find a nice, interesting topic to talk about, 2 or 3, and that's very nice as well. I hope everybody has a great evening, a good weekend, and hopefully it's warm enough to go to the beach and maybe even operate from the beach. That would be fun. You know, Torre Labiat, Ramla Hamra. Ramla Hamra, that's in Gozo, right? Before I leave, I'm curious to know how good is coverage in Gozo. I know there's a local repeater on Gozo, and I think it's active. Does it cover the whole island?
7APW 9H-HAM. I have used that repeater a couple of times while I was in Gozo. It's located in a very high place. It's located in a place called Sharda. As far as I know, it's located there anyway. And it does cover quite a lot of Gozo, but there were some pockets, but since Gozo is, hilly, going up and down, when you go down, especially amongst old buildings, narrow streets, those sort of villages, there I lost, I couldn't hit the repeater absolutely, at least with a handheld, with a 5-watt handheld. With an external antenna or more powerful radio, I might have been successful to do it. But from Malta, from the north of Malta, you can actually hit the Gozo repeater just with that 4 or 5-watt handheld. I've done that, and it works perfectly well. But I think the altitude is a problem. You have to be at the right altitude. And 7APW with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Yeah, I was actually listening to a conversation between 2 DMR stations in Sicily. They were talking about the Gozo repeater having very good coverage where they're at. So they must be in the south part of Sicily. And they said, one of them said, he said, a handheld is all you need. That's at least 60 miles away, 58 miles away. So that's pretty good. So like you said, it seems to have, very good coverage. Of course, I don't expect to go down to like maybe Schlendi or maybe even Marsalforn and get the greatest coverage. But then I have a feeling that you can hit the 9H1 UHF repeater from like Marsalforn. It's fun, like you said, it's a lot of fun. And, like you said, the better the antenna, the better coverage you have as well. Okay, very good. Thank you for that information. Anything else for the net this evening? November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. Hearing none, thank you for checking in, everyone. I'd like to invite everybody to check in again in 2 weeks' time for another edition of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. For those who hear the net as a recording on the 9H-HAM YouTube channel, it should be available by the end of Saturday. I'd like to thank Anthony for all the work that you do, and thank the repeater trustees and everybody else who has a hand in making sure that this net keeps going. In the meantime, I'd like to wish everyone a very good evening, a very good weekend, and hopefully I'll hear your voice very soon. 73s and good evening. November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey. And